in. Squeeze in and come closer. Come closer, please. Speakers, you want to stand closer to the podium, please? I think we're okay.
Oh, we're real comfortable now. Okay. All right. Cesar, let me know when to go. We're ready to go?
And there's a microphone right there.
Okay. Do I have to use this one? Or can I project?
You can project if you want.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Alejandra Gomez, and I'm the Executive Director of Arizona Center for Empowerment and our sister organization, Living United for Change in Arizona, Lucha. We are one of the largest grassroots organizations in Arizona, led by working class families, immigrants, and communities of color. For more than a decade, we have been building grassroots power across the state of Arizona and fighting for an economy and democracy that works for all of us. I want to start by thanking our partners, the Lutheran Social Services, the Arizona Early Childhood Alliance, and everyone that is part of the People First economy, which is here, for coming together today in the spirit of solidarity and action. Across Arizona, families are hurting. Nearly 1 million Arizonans are losing food assistance because of this administration's government shutdown. Families who are already struggling to put food on the table are being pushed over the edge, not because of the lack of food, but because of political games in Washington. Let's be clear, this crisis is a choice, and here are the facts. Our Republican-led Congress passed H.R. 1, a bill that gutted healthcare, slashed SNAP, and handed massive tax breaks to billionaires. Now with this shutdown, in the richest country on earth, families are being forced to line up for canned food, while this administration hosts a lavish dinner party during this shutdown. We are watching children, seniors, and working parents be starved of dignity, and because there isn't enough, not because there isn't enough food, but because a handful of politicians are holding the food hostage. When the people we elect have to be forced by the courts to act, it shows how unresponsive and disconnected this government has become. This is about humanity, about compassion, and about the moral responsibility to care for one another. Not just when law demands it, but because it is the right thing to do. While SNAP will be funded partially in November, it should never take the court order to feed our families. Can families count on December's benefits? Will this government step up and make sure our families don't go hungry during the holidays? Important questions. We believe every family deserves food on the table, health care they can afford, and a government that invests in their families. That's why we're here today, to take care of each other, to stand in the gap, and to remind those in power that the people will not be ignored. But let's be honest, donations alone are not enough. We can't afford just food drive in this system where families are currently going hungry. What we need is justice. We need Congress to end this shutdown, fully restore SNAP, and stop using families as bargaining chips. So today we're sending a message: feed families, end the shutdown, and fund SNAP. Because hunger shouldn't be a political issue, it's a moral one. And Arizona will not stay silent while our families go hungry. So with that, I will pass it to our first speaker, CEO of Lutheran Social Services, Marcy Fleming.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcy Fleming. Like she said, I serve on the board of Lutheran Social Services, and I also volunteer here at this food pantry that's right here at this location twice a week. And I do that because my faith calls me to serve. So I just wanted to let you know that 15.4% of the households with children are receiving SNAP in Maricopa County. 17.3 of the households with children are food insecure. Many of our clients here at First Evangelical have children. The average number of food boxes we distributed monthly last year was 532. This year, the average is up to 880 boxes per month, indicating that shows an increase. Actually, we have noticed just in the last week, we've almost doubled the number of people that are coming here asking for help. So I just want to thank you for your attention to this matter, and then I'd like to pass it to Sena Muhammad.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sena Mohammed, Executive Director of Arizona Coalition for Change in Our Voice Servo, Arizona. We are here today because it's November 4th, and for the past 4 days, hundreds and thousands of Arizona families have gone without food assistance they depend on to survive. And I know exactly what that feels like because I've lived it. I'm one of 13 children born to hardworking immigrant families from Ethiopia. We came to this country believing in the promise of opportunity, but for us, that promise often came with struggle. I grew up in a house where my parents made miracles out of nothing. I can still see my mother, my parents' kitchen table at late at night, spreading out grocery receipts and whispering prayers under their breath. Figuring out how to stretch a week's worth of meals from little was left on the SNAP card. That card wasn't just plastic, it was survival. It was the difference between going to bed hungry or having dinner together as a family. It was dignity in a system that often suppressed it. And even today, I still have family members who rely on SNAP to make it through each month. There are among the nearly over 900,000 Arizonans who woke up on November 1st and saw their benefits didn't come. To some politicians, this shutdown is politics. It's a tactic, a negotiation tactic, a talking point. But to families like mine, it's devastating. We're not talking about numbers. We're talking about babies going hungry. We're talking about parents choosing between paying rent and buying groceries. We're talking about elders struggling to stretch a can of soup throughout the week. SNAP feeds 42 million Americans, including nearly 1 in 8 Arizonans. Most are children, seniors, veterans, people with disability. And more than 40% are working families, people doing everything right and still living paycheck to paycheck. SNAP doesn't just fight hunger, it fuels our economy. Every $1 in SNAP that is spent creates $1.5 million in local economic activity, keeping groceries open just within that first month. If this shutdown continues, Arizona could lose nearly $238 million in economic activity this month alone. And these aren't just abstract numbers or losses. They're groceries not bought, paychecks not earned, and lives literally put on hold. So let's be clear. Hunger is a policy choice. The systems that keep families trapped in a cycle of scarcity were built this way, built by generations of decisions that protected wealth over people, profit over humanity. Today isn't just about food for us, it's about power. We can feed families in this moment, but we must also organize to ensure that no one ever ends up in this position again. Because immediate support alone won't actually change the conditions that made it necessary. That's why we're not waiting on Washington today. Today we're at here, Lutheran Church, for a community food drive, standing shoulder to shoulder with our partners and our neighbors. And tomorrow at 6 p.m., We'll also be at First New Life Church in South Phoenix, distributing food directly to families in need. We're calling on everyone listening. Donate if you can, volunteer if you can, spread the word if you can, because real leadership means taking care of our people and demanding that our government do the same. And now I will pass it to Kaylee Blakesley.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Blakesley, and I'm the manager of the Creighton Family Resource Center in Central Phoenix, which lives within the Creighton School District. I'm also a proud member of the Arizona Education Association Union. At the Creighton Family Resource Center, we support families in our community with tangible resources, classes, social supports, and connections to other organizations that can help. Some of those tangible supports include food distribution twice a month, made possible through our incredible partnership with the St. Mary's Food Bank. Now, we're not solving anyone's grocery bill, we know that. What we offer is relief, a little breathing room when families are stretched thin. Many of the families that we serve work low-income jobs, and they benefit from federal programs like SNAP, but sometimes they still struggle to make ends meet. With the recent pause and cuts to SNAP benefits, we've seen a serious uptick in need. On a typical Monday, we give out about 60 food bags. Yesterday, we prepared 75 bags, thanks to the extra support from St. Mary's and our incredible volunteers, and they were gone in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. We even had a few people come by later, so we put together another 4 emergency bags with some shelf-stable items and some other frozen goods that we had on hand. That tells you everything about the growing pressure on our families right now. I want to give a big thank you to St. Mary's Food Bank for continuing to show up for our community and for so many other organizations across Arizona. But I also want to be clear, we cannot replace SNAP. None of us in these community-based organizations have the capacity to fill that gap. And that's what worries me the most. Families who rely on this program are now being forced to rely even more heavily on small local efforts like ours, or just go without the services that they desperately need. Before I close, I want to make a quick plug for Family Resource Centers. We are in one here today. They do incredible work across our state. You can find your nearest center at familyhubaz.org. If you need support, please reach out. And if you're able to support these centers, please do, as they're a lifeline for many Arizona families. And if you're an organization that wants to connect, please reach out as well. I love showing folks around our center and expanding our partnerships. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, and I will pass it off to Alejandra. Back to Alejandra. Oh, to D. Dominic Medina. Thank you.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic Medina. I'm the co-founder of the Fuerte Arts Movement. Growing up, I grew up in a household with 2 parents who loved me, but they didn't always make ends meet. And I remember there were times when they would take us to go volunteer at the Salvation Army, and we would, all 4 of us, go volunteer, my sister, my parents, and I, and we would get to leave there with food boxes. So we knew what it was like to have to do the work to make sure that our family was fed, and we did it as a family. And we had food stamps. We were on SNAP. And if I didn't grow up with that, I wouldn't have been able to be nourished, to have food. So talking to my members the last couple weeks and them telling me that their food was getting cut off, their SNAP was getting cut off, it's heartbreaking. Families like mine, now with this government shut down, families are being pushed even closer to crisis. They're being criminalized for doing whatever it takes to feed their children. When the government stops working, people don't just lose programs, they lose hope. That's why our work at the Fuerte Arts Movement matters even more to me than ever. We use art as a tool for resistance and storytelling to remind people that their lives, their struggles are power, that their stories deserve to be heard, and that they are not alone. We are committed to building power, to standing up against systems that criminalize poverty, and to creating a world where families can thrive, not just survive. My message today is simple. If you're tired of seeing families go hungry, do something about it. Volunteer, donate, organize, call your representatives. Because hunger is not a natural disaster, it's a policy choice. And together, we have the power to choose differently. And I wanted to pass it over to Dee McDonald.
Hello everyone, my name is Dee McDonald and I'm 64 years old. I come from a military family and I was raised in the South. So I've seen racism, I've seen struggle, but I also learned the power of standing up for what's right. Today, I'm raising 5 grandchildren, ages 13 to 22. Every day, I remind them to pay attention to what's happening around them because their generation will inherit what we leave behind. They'll be the ones cleaning up this mess. We are one world, and we are all human beings. We are supposed to take care of each other. But what is happening right now is inhumane. I've had custody of my oldest grandkids since they were babies, and even though I worked hard every day, SNAP was the only reason we survived. It meant that I put food on the table and still could afford diapers or shoes. It kept my family alive. I've got 5 growing boys currently. They need real nutrition to stay healthy. I shop at discount stores, and I use coupons, and I stretch every dollar. We live off the basics and barely makes it work. SNAP didn't just feed us. It taught my kids the value of food, how to budget, and how to appreciate what they have. It helped shape who they are today. Without SNAP, we'd be homeless. And I'm not alone. So many hardworking families are doing everything right, but the system keeps pushing them down. No one can work, learn, or grow if they're hungry. How can a child study on an empty stomach? How can a worker focus when they haven't eaten for days? Hunger steals people's potential, but before they even get a chance. So, to our lawmakers, I have one question. Why aren't you using your power to help the people who need it most? You were elected to serve us, not to abandon us. Cutting SNAP is a cruel policy, and it costs lives. You're taking food out of the mouths of children, elders, and families just trying to survive. I'll keep fighting because I believe in a better future. But that future starts with compassion, and it starts with humanity. We need leaders to fight for us, not against us. Because if families like mine fall, this country falls with us. Now I'll turn it over to Alejandro Gomez, Executive Director.
Thank you to all of the speakers today. I especially want to thank you, Dee, for giving your testimony as an impacted person, our member, but all of the members of our organizations and our grassroots coalition. We have affected people. Our entire Arizona community is being affected in this moment by these harsh policies and decisions that our government is making. I especially want to thank the Lutheran Social Services, the Early Childhood Alliance, and every organization volunteer today that has been giving out food, that is figuring out a way to support our communities. So before we wrap, I want to just let media know that we won't be taking questions at the podium, but you are free to grab anyone that you like and do individual interviews. And for our speakers, please stay and do interviews. So with that, we wrap. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please stay at the podium so we can take a group picture.
Okay. So we're gonna take a group picture first.
Media that's interested in doing interviews, we're going to do interviews against the wall right here afterwards.